Resources, inspiring interviews, business practices, and practical advice to take your art career to the next level. Join Sergio Gomez in today's Artist Next Level and get ready to take control of your career.
Well, hello, my next level friend. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Artist Next Level podcast. This is a special edition episode in which I am interviewing artists from around the world as they are stuck at home during the coronavirus lockdown. Today, we're speaking to a dealer, Elias Martin here from Chicago. He's a dealer from Japanese prints and paintings and a good friend of mine. We've known each other for quite a bit. And we're going to talk about, the changing dynamics of the art world. Well, hey, Elias, how are you?
I'm well. I'm really glad to be here with you. It's an interesting time we find ourselves in, but it's wonderful to be able to communicate at least through the internet.
Absolutely. Super happy to see you here. And, we've known each other for a couple of years or maybe more. I don't know.
Yeah,
and,
I think we're going on 6.
Oh, really? Actually,
it's like funny how time goes by.
I know. Reclusion makes you think like everything is short.
Yeah.
But and actually you've been also a guest multiple times to some of my previous content. You always bring some great value. And as we talk about the art world and the dynamics of the art world, well, we are here at a completely different art world now, as we have all experienced to this. And I continue talking to artists from around the world, looking at how they are adapting to this new reality. Shows have been canceled, art fairs, you name it, everything. And so it's really interesting for me to talk to you as a dealer, to see how you're dealing with it. And also other people in the industry, how do you see also that they are dealing with this thing? Because this is not something that, let's say, okay, May 1st, this is over, everybody goes back to work. It's not that simple. It's not that. It's a transition. It's going to take time. There's a lot of uncertainty, how long and how the dynamics will be. For sure, like what we're used to in the art world is these big gatherings, big openings, big crowds. It's not going to be there for a while. And so, that has changed how we function in the art world. You are one who travels a lot because of, what you do with the Japanese prints. You travel back and forth. So let's start there. How has this affected, I assume that you've been home for a while.
Yes. I actually decided to sort of self-quarantine myself over a month ago. Okay. I kind of saw this coming. I was actually in Japan in January, and I heard what was happening in China. And I figured, ooh, this is coming, and it's not going to be good. And so when I returned to the US, I started preparing. Although it wasn't something that was on everyone's mind, it wasn't really on the news, I just started preparing. So, I've been in here for about a month, a little over a month, and I definitely have had time to reflect on what's going on with the market. And so, just how it's affected me is I basically have postponed my, my latest update or my exhibition. Primarily, I'm an online business. I do art fairs. I've done them before. And so, but I just felt that because of this time of uncertainty, I don't want to, it just feels, for me personally, it feels a little weird to focus on commerce when people are struggling or even losing their lives. Plus, the idea of shipping packages across the country, if not the world, to clients, not knowing that the packages might pick up some contamination with the virus from me to them, that just kind of, scares me. So I've decided to stop in terms of commerce, at least for now. I'm probably going to wait it out and see maybe in about a month and a half, and then mount my next exhibition. But, and I think other art dealers are doing that. Also, they've closed their businesses and they're kind of waiting. But that's not a luxury that everyone can have. And there's some dealers and some artists that I know that are promoting exhibitions exclusively online. They may have an exhibition space or a gallery somewhere. Of course, they're closed. And so they're doing intimate sort of videos showcasing artwork that may be on paper or maybe on the wall, but they're doing things in a really interesting sort of innovative way. Some people I've noticed, just take their camera and they do a video of walk through their space and talk about the exhibition. And in some ways, I think that's kind of cool because you get to hear more than if you just went to an opening and you see a group of people, you say hello, you may not talk to the artist, you may not hear the gallerist's perspective on what the exhibition's about. So that's kind of interesting. And as for me, what I've basically shifted, I repivoted my focus to education. And I'm doing Woodblock Wednesday videos live on Facebook. And I'm just discussing artwork that either I have for sale or artwork that I've collected over the years as a collector, or anything really that relates to the field. And I think that adds value to people's lives now, particularly when they're just cooped up in their apartments or in their homes. And, it keeps people interested in what you do.
Right. Which is something that, I was watching at one of your recent episodes, which was really, really nice. You really make it personal, right? You have the phone in your hand and you walk us through and you show us the prints and you get really close and, you are really good at it. And something that I remember probably over a year ago or so, we sit down in a restaurant here in Chicago and we were talking about video and doing these kinds of things as I had started Breakfast with Sergio and you were starting this. So, I'm thinking like, I'm so glad I started this way back then. And I'm sure for you too, because now, it feels like we're not just jumping into something that we had never done before, but actually, we have been doing this video content that right now it's the only way in which you can get to other people when we cannot meet face to face on a regular basis.
Yes. In fact, you could say that we were both visionaries when we were discussing these things, because now that might be the only way to do it for the time being. While we're all closed down and quarantining ourselves, there really is no opportunity to connect with clients or interested people other than through these videos. Right. So that's important. And I think also moving forward, as you mentioned, I think you're right. Everything you said is spot on. Things will change. The art world is going to change, hopefully for the better, but it will change in the sense, in a practical way. The time of the large art fairs, I think, are on pause. And, maybe there'll be an Art Basel in December, and Art Miami and all the other fairs. Maybe there won't be. And even if they are those fairs, I doubt that they will attract the numbers that they normally attract. Also, the clients from all over the world will probably not travel for those fairs. So the emphasis is going to be on the internet and what gallerists, what artists can do and produce for their websites, and then try to organize something together. I think that's the key in order to promote the artwork. There might be virtual art fairs now. Who knows what will happen?
And actually, some of the ones that canceled started to kind of do now a mini version of that into their websites and then pushing out through different websites and so on. And it's something that I think that you did early on too, which was moving into online sales. Before even the pandemic and all this. When I went to visit you, you were showing me, how you were doing your business online, and that has also inspired me. And now I'm also the gallery 33 Contemporary. We do everything online, even since the pandemic. We started back in September, where we shifted and we said all sales go online. Everything goes online, and what a great thing where we can still connect and do some business, even as we are in lockdown, because we had already all the infrastructure set up. Yeah. So
exactly.
That kind of gives that advantage where you're not jumping all of a sudden on a brand new space that you have never touched before, in terms of that. So as you look at the future, Elias, and you think about this new art world that we are all working with, what are some of the maybe 2 or 3 things that you think we as participants in this new art world will need to do to thrive in this new space?
Well, I think this is a great opportunity, actually.
I think so.
In some ways, it levels the playing field for the smaller galleries. So there will always be the Gagosians and the Pace galleries, right? But if there's no huge art fair where you have to be in order to get the collectors to come in, you're one of many websites. So what I'm trying to do is create content that is on the site for free, of course, that attracts people to my area of interest in my genre, in what area my specialty, happens to be Japanese prints and paintings. But any person that creates an interactive website that's engaging, thought-provoking, but also introduces the artwork in a way that allows people to learn about what the artist is interested in sort of communicating, that speaks clearer and more direct than just going to an art fair. And I mean, I hate to call it a sales pitch, but you're in direct communication with the artist or with the gallerist, whereas a lot of people are intimidated when they go to art fairs. You walk into a booth and I mean, I know this because being at an art fair and offering artwork, I could see people were kind of interested in engaging with me about the artwork, but they were afraid to ask questions, or that whole world kind of creates anxiety for some people. And in an online sort of situation, that goes away. And you're able to promote things that you want to introduce to the public. The public gains from that by being able to actually, experience what you want to communicate. And if you could kind of see the tea leaves and read them well, I think it's really going to be the focus websites, and then how to get attention. You go on a web. How does an art collector find you? And that's going to be very important in the near future. And developing a website that addresses those concerns.
Absolutely. And this actually, you touched on something that I've been talking about for a while here to our friends as artists. Sometimes we are in the search of, okay, how do I find the next collector, right? How do I find collectors? But I like to reverse the questions. What am I doing so that collectors find me? Because collectors don't walk around with a sign that says, hello, my name is Art Collector, right? It could be a doctor, it could be a scientist, could be anybody, it could be your neighbor. But, hard to identify. But what am I doing so that I could be easily found? And I think that changes the dynamic from, being the one who's chasing to like, wait a minute, what am I doing? How can I do my part so that I'm easily found?
That's absolutely right. I mean, that's dead on. And in fact, also the idea of what an art collector is, I mean, being in the business for so many years, everyone thinks, oh, an art collector is all these guys that have all this money. They come in and they just buy up things. That's not really how it goes, not all the time. And an art collector can be a school teacher that wants a nice piece just to go above their bed, or buy a dresser somewhere. Or it could be a person that just bought a house and wants to fill it up with art. I mean, there could be all kinds of reasons. So and once they buy those things, would they buy another work of art? Maybe not for another 10 years or so. So the idea of what a collector is kind of a misnomer, but it's people interested, people that are engaged in possibly buying something. And so being able to create a website or an experience on your website that allows for that experience to unfold in a pleasurable way is going to be very, very important.
Awesome. Well, Elias, you've been so good, my friend, like always. Always,
it's my pleasure.
Always your insight always brings a big smile in my face. And thank you so much for your time. For everything that you're doing as well. And let's invite our friends to check out, the work that you're doing. Where can they find you, particularly your Wednesday's awesome educational videos on Japanese prints?
Yeah, I go live on Facebook every Wednesday. It's called Woodblock Wednesday. So you can look for me, Elias Martin, on Facebook, or my website, collectingjapaneseprints.com, where I archive all the videos. And I have a Facebook account also for that company. It's Collecting Japanese Prints. You could friend us or like us there, and then just follow me, there, or just check out my website. Obviously I sell Japanese prints and paintings, but I also offer educational reference books, art books, that are collectible, but also meant for people who are novices to learn a little bit more about this area.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. And I want to thank to all our friends who are watching right now. Please also share this episode with your friends. Let us know how you like this conversation. Connect with us, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you again. Have a good day. Bye, Elias.
Thank you very much.
Check out our website at www.theartistnextlevel.com, where you will find our podcast library, learn about our upcoming webinars, find resources relevant to your career, and much more. Thanks for listening to today's podcast, and we'll see you at the next level.